Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about graphing sine and cosine functions with amplitude and period changes. So we're going to put the two things we learned the other day together. All right, you're going to need your notes, a pen and a pencil, 3 colored pencils, and a calculator. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move right into our examples. Today we're just going to do 2 of them, so you have to make sure you get both examples in your notes, please. We're going to find the amplitude pyramid increments of each function, then we're going to graph the function, labeling everything very thoroughly. That's very important. All right, here we go. Amplitude. Remember, amplitude is the absolute value of this number. So we're going to have the absolute value of 3, which is just 3. Now, in order to find our period, what we do is we take the number in front of x, and we take 2 pi divided by that number. To simplify these ones, pi is going to cancel, and we're going to get 2. Now, to get our increments, what we do is we take that number, our period number, which is 2, divided by 4, which is going to simplify to 1/2. So we're counting by halves, and we have to go over to 2 in order to get 1 period. So let's set up our x and y axes. Now we're going to start labeling. We're going by halves. So I'm going to have 1/2, 2 halves, which is the same as 1, 3 halves, and 4 halves. And 4 halves is the same as 2. So we can stop there. We're going to do 1 to the right and 1 to the left of our origin. So we're going to have -1/2, -2 halves, -3 halves, and -4 halves. Once we have this done, we have to graph our amplitude, and mine's always going to be in blue. This time our amplitude is 3, so I'm going to go up 3 and down 3. 1, 2, 3. Make my dotted line. Make sure I label it very, very well. I need to know what's going on. Then I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. -3 this will be. Once we get to this point, our amplitudes are in, our increments are in, now we can graph it. Since we're graphing it, we're working with cosine. Remember, cosine, we always start high. So cosine is going to start on this amplitude on the top on 3. If I start on the top, the only way I can go is down. We have to hit each point. So I go to the top, to the center on my x-axis, then I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, make sure I'm touching my amplitude, back to the middle, and then all the way back to the top. I started and stopped in the same spot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, which I need. Now I can connect them. Make sure your lines look nice. You're touching, and then the cosine, we have to go back down and put our arrow. We never go outside of our amplitude. This one, we go down, we have to go to the center of the axis, then we're going to go all the way down to -3, back up to the center, and then back up to our amplitude up top. We stopped and started at the same spot. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Now we can connect them. There we go. Make sure we put our arrows at the end. Never leave those blue lines in this case. Never leave your amplitude. And we're going to finish here with domain and range. Remember, our domain's always going to be the same. We get to go on forever, so our domain's always going to be all real numbers. Now our range is determined by our amplitude. So y has to be less than or equal to 3, and y has to be greater than or equal to -3. Remember, you can write it like that, or if you just want to write it all in one, you can write it like this. Okay, moving on to our last example for the day. Here we go. Y equals 2 times the sine of 3x. Now our amplitude, remember, is the number in front, and it's the absolute value of that number, so it's going to be 2. Our period is the number in front of our x, which is going to be 3, And to find our period, we take 2 pi divided by that number. Now this one can't be simplified, so we're going to leave it just like that. The one that's going to change a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, so make sure you're paying attention here, is our increments. We usually divide by 4. That kind of makes it messy. If you remember back to our other way to find increment, we can take 1/4 times our period. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take 1/4 times 2 pi over 3. Multiply fractions, we're just going to go straight across. So I get 2 pi all over 12. This simplifies to pi all over 6. So that's going to be our increment, and our period is going to be 2 pi over 3. Now it's time to graph. Draw your x and y axes. Now we're going to put in our increments. We're counting by pi over 6. So here is pi over 6. The next one's 2 pi over 6, which would be the same as pi over 3. And then we have 3 pi over 6, which is the same as pi over 2. And now we're going to have 4 pi over 6, which is the same as 2 pi over 3. That's what we wanted to get to. Now we did it to the right of 0, 0. Now we have to do it to the left. Negative pi over 6, negative 2 pi over 6, negative 3 pi over 6, and negative 4 pi over 6. Our increments are in. Now it is time to do our amplitude. I have an amplitude of 2, so I go up 2. Make sure I label it. I need to know where your amplitudes are at. And then I'm going to go down 2. Oops, negative 2. Now, since we have our increments and our amplitudes in, it's time to graph. Now, sine. Sine means that I start in the middle. So I'm going to start here in the middle. To the right I go up, to the left I go down. So since I'm working to my right first, I'm going to start in the middle. I have to go to the top, to my top amplitude. Then I'm going to head back down, so I'm going to go down to the middle. Then I need to go all the way down to the bottom amplitude, back to the middle again. I stopped and started in the same spot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Now I can graph. Put my arrows at the end, make sure I touch all of my amplitudes. Now that I'm going to the left, I start at the center. I'm going to go down to my bottom amplitude, come back to the center, go to my top amplitude, go back to the center. I stopped and started in the same spot. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. Now I can connect them. Make sure I put my arrow at the end. And ladies and gentlemen, we get to now find our domain and range. Domain is all real numbers. Now on our range, we just go with our amplitude. So I have 2 and negative 2. So if y has to be greater than or equal to 2, less than or equal to 2, and y has to be greater than or equal to negative 2. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. I hope you go out and have a fabulous day, and I will be seeing you later. Bye!